Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tech Talks with nasscom Insights. I'm Dhiraj Sharma. I'm part of nasscom Insights team, and I will be your host for today. This episode is going to be very interesting since we will be talking about one of the hottest topics in this space currently, which is generative AI. For those who haven't read a report on Gen AI startup landscape in India yet, do give it a read. For this episode, we are joined by our expert panel who will shed light on the various aspects of this dynamic industry. Joining us are three startup leaders, Saurav Banerjee from United We Care and Kumar Sourav from Vodex.ai. We also have a distinguished VC representative, Anirudh Siddharth from IPV, who has been closely witnessing the growth and potential of this sector. Over the two episodes, we will look at the current landscape and explore the funding trends, challenges, and future opportunities for companies in this space. Without any further ado, let's get started. I'll quickly introduce our panel members to our viewers, post which we will start our discussion. Anirudh Siddharth is a chartered accountant with over 7 years of experience in consulting, strategy, and transactions M&A. He has been involved in the startup ecosystem for the last 5 years and has mentored over 50 startups in the past. At IPV, currently he drives the portfolio operations and due diligence of early stage investments with a principle of investing in great founders, running great businesses, and enhancing user engagement for the stakeholders. Kumar Sourav is a co-founder and CTO of Vodex.ai, a technology startup that specializes in Gen AI-powered outbound calling solutions for businesses. With over a decade of experience in the IT, IoT, robotics, and AI industries, he brings a wealth of expertise to his role as a CTO. The area of particular interest to him is generative AI, and he believes that this technology has enormous potential to transform the way we work, we live, and we interact with each other. Saurav Banerjee is the founder and CTO of United We Care, which is a deep tech startup focused on mental health services. He previously taught data science at NMIMS and served as the head of corporate strategy for India's largest private sector mental health care provider. Saurav's expertise in data science and passion for mental health led him to leverage technology in transforming mental health care through United We Care. So let's start with you, Saurav Banerjee. Help us understand which are some of the key Gen AI use cases across industries that are already getting a lot of traction. And since all of these use cases are supported by technology stack, so how do you see this stack changing with evolving use cases?
Yeah, thanks, Dhiraj. Thanks, and thanks for the question. So let's understand this particular use case from more generic perspective in terms of what generative AI does. So the current understanding that we have in terms of generative AI is it can generate texts at a very, very large scale, fairly accurate. Yes, there are certain problems with hallucination, but that set aside, it can generate texts. It can generate videos, it can generate audios. This is what it can do right now. Use cases humongous, like I can't just tell it like this is the use case and this is not the use case. So wherever we generate a text can be replaced with a generative AI first. Wherever we need, and which all cases we need text generation, a conversation. It can be help desk support. It can also be something like paraphrasing, right? Or writing summaries of a lot of medical data or things like that. So I'm talking about cutting industry or cutting across sector. Wherever we need to generate a lot of text, we can do that. Second thing, image, audios, entertainment industry, graphics. All of these industries are also something that are positively affected by this Gen AI. I'll not get into the negative aspects of it right now. Now, we have to understand what it cannot do as on today and what we are researching on and what it will be able to do. So this is where we will talk about change in the tech stack and how the whole industry is going to kind of shift from where it is to where it will be. It does not understand causality. it understands that two events can happen together. That's how it kind of creates something. So I'll just give you an example. Like, let's take the example of ice cream sales versus, say, sunstroke. We will have a lot of incidents that these two data points come together a lot of times, right? So the current AI framework, what we have, they can understand that these two comes together, and there is a propensity that it will say that ice cream sales causes sunstroke. Well, it does not. Because of sun, ice cream sales goes up. Because of sun, sunstroke goes up, right? So the causality is not something that we have it in the current generative AI. So the tech stack that we are from mental health industry here, rather than just generating text, it's important for us to kind of establish a causality, that particular thing is causing something or something or not, right? So in near future, the thing that we are expecting is generative AIs will get more and more causal in nature. It will understand why something has happened or why is it writing something, rather than just writing it as a part of the most similar thing that should be written in that particular instance. So yeah, I mean, that would be my take on
Interesting. I completely understand. And this was fairly exhaustive. So thank you so much, Sourav. So building upon Saurav's insights, Kumar, how has your GenAI startup adapted its business model to cater to the evolving needs of the market? I mean, also if you could highlight how important are collaborations and partnerships for the growth of GenAI companies?
So thanks, Dhiraj. Thanks, nasscom Insights, for inviting me as well. And Sourav made a very important points while replying to you. So I will actually try to build my answer on top of that. First thing is, when you think about a business model, so yesterday itself, I was a part of an event by Bessemer Venture Partners, where a few of Gen AI founders from video, audio spaces, a few like Ubeka's founders were there, Bessemer's founders, and few other leading HNIs were there. So we were discussing around what could be the space where how Gen AI startups can do, and also around the technology part. Like there could be two kinds of things. One who is using the LLM, another is like building an application on top of LLMs, another could be working on the foundation models as well. Talking about in India's context, what we tried to establish there as well, and which I also find very much important, is importance of use case, where you are using the Gen AI and how you are using it. It's not important to immediately go into an IP proprietary things and immediately start building the foundation models from the scratch. Although we did have to do that. I will explain you why we had to do that. Why? Because our use case is actually in audio calls. Like we trigger phone calls, like businesses use our platform to trigger phone calls to millions of people worldwide, right? So where the bot actually talks in a real human voice. Now, if you see my application, there is no possibility that I could integrate LLM in real time. Why? Because it's a phone call. People are not going to wait for like 6-7 seconds to get a response from GPT and then convert it into audio, and dot audio also will sound robotic. So we have to create a workaround of it so that the same excellence level of things can be imparted to the customers. The customers are happy with the responses, so that the customer doesn't feel that this is not a human. It should be able to understand more. As already Sourav mentioned, that not only having a context window will solve this problem. It should have a personality. It should be able to create relationships around that, and that too all into the real time. So we had created this around using some latency layers on top of that. We in-house created our own text-to-speech engines, which can copy anyone's voice, like a voice cloning engine kind of stuff, and that too at very fast scale. So talking about the business model, I think most of the companies who's working on generative AI is following a SaaS model. Usually it could be the subscription model depending on their use case, or it could be a pay-as-you-go model as well, where we are also going for a subscription plus pay-as-you-go model. Once you expire your credits of calling, using the subscription model, you can top up like a mobile recharge that we used to do long ago. Right now we are not doing, we have unlimited calling. So we are following that for India, for US, wherever our clients are, and we are seeing fair amount of traction into that. And this is how I'm seeing the most of the companies are actually adopting like a image generation company or a video generation company is actually adopting towards a subscription plan. Like this is a free content that you get, and if you want to get more content, you need to pay me like a premium feature kind of stuff. What was your second question, Dhiraj? Sorry.
So I just wanted to understand the importance of collaborations and partnerships for
Yes.
the growth of GenAI companies.
So I think GenAI is at such a nascent space. Like yesterday itself, I told you earlier as well, we were at Maya's event, and there's a lots of mixtures that is happening, and that's very good that some incumbents and some new players all are bringing together something onto the table so that they can understand the technology. And trust me, people are talking in terms of what technology, very openly talking about what technology they are employing in their product, right? Very openly, like are they using some open source Hugging Face library to do that, or are they using some proprietary data? If they are doing even proprietary, which vector database they are using. So they are talking at a very open scale, and that partnership collaboration is very important. Why? Because it's such a huge space, and solves so many variants of problem where the partnership and collaboration between similar industry or indifferent industry, but the Gen AI space finally getting used. It's very important. Also, like the companies who were right now not using maybe the AI, they are coming in front and trying to use a platform. Maybe I would love to say that. Basically, the winners will be who will be finally adopting towards the Gen AI space, because it's a very fast moving space. Of course, there is a lots of people are thinking about like will it be another edtech, will it be another crypto or something like that, but keeping it aside, there is two things we need to understand, that Gen AI is a necessity rather than a good to have thing, right? So without Gen AI, we are not able to do lots of computation, calculation and everything. So, and to understand the technology at par, there should be a mutual partnership, collaboration also around ethics and everything as well.
Understood. And I think it's a very interesting angle that you brought in towards the end. So completely agree with that. So Anirudh, as a VC firm, which is actively investing in the Gen AI space, what factors do you consider while evaluating startups for investment? I mean, how do you assess their market alignment and growth potential?
Sure, Dhiraj. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me, and thanks nasscom for giving me an opportunity to speak here. So, Dhiraj, so basically, again, generative AI is a subsector, or maybe an addition to what descriptions has already been made through tech, right? So, I mean, AI is an old thing which obviously is going through multiple levels of iteration, and generative AI is one such iteration where it simplifies people's work through technology, right? And startup, when we look at from a VC point of view, it is basically what is the relevant problem statement that it solves, and what is the value proposition that it offers to the stakeholders. So these are the two things that, as a VC or as an investor or even as a founder, I will look at it, right? So because that is how you build the fundamentals of the business, right? Tech will keep on advancing, right? So we had one of the, at IPP we invested in one of the earlier conversational bot, right, back in 2018, right? So when it was new, right, when WhatsApp bot was new, when conversational AI was there, right, then we passed on haptic, right, which now is portfolio of Lens, right? So that was also a bot where you uses a personal assistant, right? Now generative AI is more integrative in terms of it talks to you as a friend, or it talks to you like an employee, right? Not just only prefixed options, but how it has evolved is now you are trying to build in some sort of a human element into a app or a software, right? So that is what I predominantly look as a generative AI, right? Irrespective of the technology or what is it, the main focus as a VC that we would be looking at is basically what are the use cases, right? What are the use cases it can be used, and across sectors, where can it be used, right? And obviously, it has various use cases in fintech, in healthcare, which has already been come out, right? And where it could be used effectively, right? So when we evaluate startups, one, obviously the founder will have to see how competent is he to execute, right? And what kind of competitive advantage is he building, right? And what kind of sector is he focusing on? And we also say that, okay, how is the sector which he's focusing on is expected to grow, and what kind of use would be there in a sector, right? Because see, ultimately your B2B solutions predominantly, right, are use case driven. Like be it your blockchain technology, be it any other technology that comes SaaS, right? So it is predominantly use case driven. So as a VC, I would be more interested to see as to what is that that it is solving, and what is the value proposition that it brings onto the table and it is solving, right? So that is the major thing. With respect to the second question in terms of how do you assess their market alignment and growth potential, right? So as I mentioned, so we evaluate any startup, right, under various buckets, right? First is the disruption or the market, how large is the market, right? Second is predominantly in terms of how do you start retaining, how do you show value proposition to the customer, and how do you start retaining them? How do you convert more ARR or MRR, right? How do you generate the recurring revenue, right? Third would be more in terms of the business quality, like how are the fundamentals of the company, right? Is it like is it building on open source? Is it building on closed source? Because see, now chat GPT or OpenAI is something which is open source, and Facebook has done this like 10 years back in terms of closed code programming, right? But by open source, it doesn't mean that you are leaving the technology out in the open air, but how do you effectively utilize it, and how more usage can be built through open source? Because certain things in a close core can't be tested, can't be implemented. So all that is the advantage here, right? So these are the factors that we look at in terms of evaluating investment, not just only with respect to only generative AI, but also in terms of how is it expected to be used. Because we have invested in a couple of blockchain startups also, a crypto startup also, right? Now EV is also an emerging sector, right? So everything comes with a sort of a disruption. So only thing is that we have to evaluate how it is effectively solving a problem, right? What is the value proposition? Is it by using generative AI, am I getting more revenue? Am I reducing my OPEX cost, right? Are you bringing more retention, right? Are you bringing down your CAC, customer acquisition cost? So what is that effectively, how it is solving is what we effectively look, and whether the founder has a clarity in terms of understanding that value proposition and working towards that is what we technically look at.
Interesting. And I think it was very crisp. So thank you so much, Anirudh, for sharing this with us. So this brings us to the end of the first episode of this two-part series. Thank you, Saurav, Banerjee, Kumar, Sourav, and Anirudh for sharing your valuable insights on the current landscape of GenAI startups in India. Stay tuned, viewers, for the second part, where we will talk about the challenges, ways to address them, opportunities that our panelists see emerging in the short term, and what needs to be done by the ecosystem players to seize those opportunities. Till then, take care, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the nasscom Insights YouTube channel. Do press the bell icon to stay updated with the latest videos on our channel. Thank you so much.